Hello everyone and welcome to another video from the Demon Overlord. Today I will be unboxing a whole entire brick of these bad boys here. The Icons of the Realm, Eberron, Rising from the Last War, pre-painted figure sets. I did recently get my brick in the mail, so we're going to open this and trying a new style here with my nice little rotator base here to show off the contours of the minis and also give them some nice little mood effect lighting. So let's get to the first mini, shall we? First up here, we actually have the Shambling Mound. This was the first miniature I pulled out from a set. This is the large miniature that came in there. I honestly did not know that the Shambling Mound here was even a part of this set. He is number 43 of 44. With a quick zoom in. There we are, much better angle. And as you can see, he's very nicely detailed. He is a very simplistic mini. He's mostly just vines and along those lines. He does have a little bit of a white sort of bone structure or possibly just root structure on the face. And compared to the unpainted miniature, he is a little bit more dynamic in his style. Another shot of the underside just in case. I love that blue lighting on my here. Next up, we're going to go with a miniature, another large class mini, because I'm going to go down, or we're going to go with three of his little allies here we had with him. First up, we actually had a Karamathi zombie. And as you can see, he's a very nice undead. Has a nice sort of lightning curvish sword. Very interesting. Puts a nice flare on zombies in case you need a nice zombie for your game. I love the wrapping of his shield there. Makes it look a little more like kind of thrown together. And as you can see, he's got very nice detail on him. Very nice. I like the armor on a zombie for once. Makes a nice difference. And then coming to the second mini we pulled out of there, I happened to get one of the Warforged. I was actually looking forward to getting one of these bad boys. Warforged are a nice NPC or PC character, if necessary, for your game. And since he has a shield and mace, he could easily stand in for a paladin who has that combination, or be a fighter. Either one, he would work great for that. He could also be a cleric, because clerics also do use clubs and maces. So he'd be a very useful miniature, and I like the blue on gold. It has a nice texture, and it pops with the lights from my base rotator. Next up here, we have the second Warforged I got from that box, of the first box. It is a sword variant of the Warforged, and I will show his bottom. He is number 1, which is awesome. I got the first guy. I do like in the contrast to them, they didn't just simply give him different, like the same number but different style. I mean, he is very much the same, but he has a nice green cloak there. A very lovely sword. I actually like the design of the sword, and they did give him pretty much the same shield and body style. But other than that, a very nice character. He'd be definitely good for a nice fighter. Once again, could work for a paladin. I mean, just a very nice character overall, especially if you need a Warforged for your game. For our second box here, we actually got us a nice surprise. It is a half-ogre, as you can see here. Very ogre-looking, but he is a half-ogre with more clothes and a little more dignified look. I did not know they actually had variants on this ogre in the set from what I've seen of other people who got early releases of this. He actually is a spear variant, and he actually is a different number variant style. So this is 25B, the half-ogre. And he is very nicely designed. His paint job in the face is a little rough around the eyes, but honestly it works great for any ogre. Or even half-ogre if you want to have a half-ogre in your town, or possibly PC. Or at least, more likely though, NPC. To villain. The second small I happen to get with him in the set is this nicely made Shifter Rogue. Let me do a quick underside here. And these Shifter Rogues represent lycanthrope characters, so this is more of a character that can use lycanthrope abilities such as smell and other things that animals would have, but yet also be a controllable character, as lycanthropes are more of a chaotic form of wild animalistic natures, could cause issues in a party. So this could make a definitely great new PC race. Or could make an interesting NPC for a quest, like maybe this Shifter is a hunter for a village and he needs some assistance. He's got a lot of possibilities to him. And I know there's a couple different types of Shifter, if I've read correctly in the books. So, I mean, he can offer some flavor to your collection. Definitely would keep him with your lycanthropes, though, since he is technically a form of lycanthrope. Since he's more of like your parents were lycanthropes, so you're now a Shifter. Simple way to put it like that way. Very nice character, nice rogue. I wish he had a little more to him. He's a little plain, but I love the little like metal pieces on him. They actually add more character detail and more personality. Next up, we have another member of the Carnathi from this thing. Sorry, I know it's Carnathi. We have the Carnathi skeleton, which, as you can see, and he is like number 2. He's a very nice detail. I like the swervy swords and the bit of armorish, almost Asiatic with the helmet there, but then the rest kind of almost more barbaric. It's nice to see a skeleton that actually gets a little bit more love in his sculpting, a little more interesting look and opinion. I mean, honestly, he looks so nice, you could probably use him as a fighter skeleton. Definitely would be a nice stat block for him to use if you want to make him like more flavorful of leading a group of regular skeletons, give him some stats to make him more beefy to the player, so he's not such an easy kill, but maybe a more memorable fight. As you can see, though, it's a very nice sculpt. Definitely got to give WizKids credit here. It looks beautiful, and I like his design. Next up here, we have the Kalishtar, another new race introduced with the Eberron set. I really think they're quite interesting. Now, I haven't read the book fully on them, but they are an interesting new PC for your group. I think they're magically, like, powered or godly empowered. One of those kind of ideals, but really interesting to look at. She's very nicely dressed. I like the pink and the white on her. Actually matches her style very well and her elegant stance. I do know she's holding a nice little dagger, so, you know, you could make her easily say she's a rogue. She uses her good looks to travel through crowds without gaining more than the, ooh, she's pretty attention. And then you just quickly give your guy a little stab and walk away. And then a kid be like, oh, it couldn't be her. This beautiful flower could never be that deadly. But you know what they say? Beautiful flowers sometimes have deadly thorns. But a very nice mini. I love her design. Very beauty-based sculpt. Very nice. Next up here, we have the Living Lightning Bolt, which, here we go. Living Spell Lightning Bolt. Sorry, I forgot spell. 20 out of 44. Really nice. I really like how it looks like a snaky lightning bolt, or like a dragonian inspired lightning bolt. And I like how WizKids actually put some rocks on this to give it a little more of a solid heft to the base. It looks good. Now, I mean, honestly, yeah, it could have been a little bit longer, a little more intricate, but it looks pretty cool for a nice lightning bolt that's tracking someone down or is acting like a wild animal. I think if I'm correct in the book, these are living spells that have somehow gone and gained their own sentience, and now they travel like an animal would and do what an animal would do, which is kill prey, you know, hide from, you know, things they consider dangerous, and do their own thing. Pretty cool. I like the translucence. That translucent effect of him is very spot on. It looks fabulous. And that's really all I gotta say. Very simple thing, but also very great at the same time, and a very interesting thing to throw at a group with lightning powers, especially if someone in your group uses lightning. Guess what? You've now met a creature that doesn't care. Very nice and very good to add to the collection. Next up, we have the Hashalak Quarry. Now, I might have said that wrong. My apologies. Don't kill me in the comments down below. By the way, if you have anything to say, please say in the comments down below. You know, like, very cool, or if you have a question about any of the minis. Oop, nicked my camera. Sorry about that. But I love this translucency. Now, this mini, I didn't know was going to be translucent when I saw him on the box. I thought he was just going to be a really deep blue. But I love this translucent effect, going down to a nice darkened tail. It has a very nice look, and I love that it's on the good floating stand, and not the stupid peg, but it looks really nice. It has nice detail. You could use it for a spear if you had to fill it in, like maybe a special ghost on. I don't know what this thing is yet, if it's some other type of living spell, but it looks really cool. And it's just a nice, intricate, and very eye-catching piece to put on your tabletop or to have in your collective library. Really nice. I gotta give credit. Really nice piece. Didn't expect it, but really nice. I was loving that I pulled it. Next up, we have a Dwarf Artificier, which is the new new class added to a classic race, as I meant to say. We have a lovely padded down kilt sort of looking armor, which I guess you could say medium armor, light armor. I love how he's got like just a nice yellow color. It gives him a nice pop look. And always got, as you can see, there's some little knuckles. Maybe he's got like some metal knuckles. Looks like he has like some type of set of arrows with maybe an unfolding or a special sword on his back. Not sure, but I like that he's got a little set of knuckles on him. And as I said, it is the new Artificier class, so maybe something interesting to add to your players to give your group a nice, interesting hook they can take to get out of problems and such like that. Otherwise, a very nicely painted dwarf, too. He's very nicely painted. I don't see really anything wrong with him. His eyes are in good proportion, all that stuff. He's pretty well made. Another good dwarf to add to the old dwarven army sort of building. Next up, we have the Tarkanan Assassin, number 8 out of 44. Really awesome. And honestly, I love her style, the sword, and I love the magical sword. Like the little bit of energy flowing through, so it's not so obvious, but she is an assassin. She's gotta be a little sneaky, but you never know when you need magic. That's probably a silver sword on the other hand. I like her simple design. Simple, could make a great PC if someone in the group wants to be a fighter. She could be a good stand-in for that, or a rogue that's holding 2 short swords. Could be easily that as well. Very simple, very nice, very clean, executed. Another good sculpt. Definitely have no problems with that. Next up, we have the Radiant Idol, which is, I think, the idea of a Fallen-esque style Celestial. And as you can see, he's got very ruined wings. Luckily, mine were very lighter on the red, because I've seen some where they've looked really hard red, and it's just too much. Because this guy looks like he fell a while ago, and now he's having to deal with it with his very nice mace there, or very nice flail. I think it's a flail, would be the correct term. But really cool. I like his design. It's simple, clean. It does say Celestial, but then those wings give a nice, something went wrong here. Like someone did something they weren't supposed to. Now, I didn't read yet on the Radiant Idol. I haven't because I didn't think I'd honestly pull one from the box. So, but really cool. Nice Celestial or Fallen Celestial to add to the collection. Since I don't really have a lot of angels, he's a cool, like, fallen angel. And I like his, like, kind of pose. Kind of that pose of, like, serve me or I will destroy you with my flail. Very interesting and very nice. And I really love what that base does to my minis. So with the first small or medium that I got with him, we got the Homunculus, which, as you can see here, looks to be like the Iron Defender, which I know is also part of this set as an Iron Defender, but a very nice winged model, which I don't know why it's among this. I guess if you worked hard enough in reality thinking about it, you could make one out of metal. It looks cool. I don't mind. You could easily use him just as another Iron Defender since he's but a winged version, so maybe they fly after you. So if you fly away on a griffin, they could chase you down and start biting you. Regardless, pretty cool though. Very nice. I like it. It's very simple, but it's also very cool in the idea of a sci-fi-ish way with the metal dog. It's always cool to have metal watchdogs that can fly and bite people. Or if someone in your group wants a metal homunculus that's more useful in battle, here you go. Next up, we have the other Kalishtar. This is the male version, as you can see, with his very gossamer-esque little arm drapes there and his little pants. He is wearing nothing on his feet, though. It looks like he's going either very light slipper or he's wearing nothing on his feet. I can't really tell. It's hard to tell, but I like the little mask there and design. He looks a little different. He looks like someone in the crowd that you'd probably look at for a bit and go, wait a minute. Something about him ain't right. He's too pretty. A nice character, nice possible PC since Kalistars are now a playable race coming with Eberron, and it's really nice that way that they keep adding to it. Very interesting guy to add, a very interesting race. So, yeah, definitely very nice. I do like that I got him, so another possible addition to the PC-wise, another option for my players. So, really nice. And I think he is actually 5. Yeah, he's number 5 out of 44, so really cool. Now, next up, we have the Suquora Quarry. I might have said that wrong. I'm trying. I assume the T in it is silent. But here comes another interesting sort of nightmare. I think this falls in the nightmare or horror category. With this very aggressive-looking reddish monster from, honestly, the Badlands. Look at those nasty pincers. I love the pincers on him. They look so aggressive and intimidating. I like these nice little patches of metal up in there on his back. Or just like carapace. I'm not sure if he's a flesh and blood creature or rat or like an elemental of some sort or magical. I gotta read more into the book and see what these guys are because this is like an interesting sculpt. I honestly completely forgot he was part of the set, but I'm glad I got him. Really cool, really dangerous looking, really devastating. I think he's definitely gonna be something that will get a group's attention to fight. I think they're pretty dangerous too. Like I think they actually have a high challenge rating. Man, it's really cool. I just like his blue eyes to help pop. His just stare at you with the deadly scorpion claws. Really cool. Really cool. Next up here we have the Cloaker, a very classic monster found in the Monster Manual normally. It is a very interesting flying ray monster that basically wraps itself to look like a stalagmite, I think it does, or it can just sit against like ceilings and leap down and attack you in caves or dungeons. I love that creepy face. That is nightmare fuel right there. Look at the little creepy arms with the little stabbers. Ugh, just so aggressive. I think I remember they actually can throw those at you. And then they got that lovely ray-looking body. I mean, honestly, I can see no reason why you couldn't like make a aquatic version of the Cloaker if one does not exist. I love his base. It works perfectly. That nice swoop going there. Very nice. Very clean sculpt. Very good paint job. I know it's very simple in some people's minds, but it's very nice. He is number 26 out of 44. So another very nice monster to add to the monster library to throw of encounters at your group. And next up, we have the second of the little metal dogs of the set, the remake of the Iron Defender. He is number 4 out of 44 and very aggressive looking. I think without the wings, he looks more like the true Iron Defender in the book with the sort of Doberman style sitting there barking at you and biting and ready to take you down. Now, I know these things are very aggressive little constructs, so maybe someone in your group happens to find an artificer who builds her one that makes it loyal to her by imprinting or designing into its thing, or programming it, I think it's programming, to make it follow. And I think it would be a really interesting little piece just for an enemy to have, or maybe someone in your group happens to get one. Never leave the option open for either or. It can always spice up a game. Very nice, very good miniature. Glad I got another of these bad boys to add to my repertoire library of monsters to call upon. Here comes my second Carnathy skeleton I've gotten. This is the second medium of that box. This is the skeletal version. So instead of the swords, he's got nice skeletons and a slightly different pose, as his front arm is more raised and showing off his very deadly war axe set, war axes. Though his armor set is very much, pretty much the same as the other guys, so they will look good next to each other and very similar. But like I said, at least you got an axe to divide this one from the other one. Definitely could be a good fighter or barbarian skeleton if you wanted to have him go that route to make your players have a more challenging opponent. But really cool and really awesome. And like I said, I love having skeletons get some care sent to them to make them more interesting and more flavorful for your game. Next up, we have the Dolgunt. And I don't know if I said it 100% right, but let's see his base here. He's number 24 out of 44. And unlike the skeleton, this guy just hits me with more creep because of those dark eyes and the tongue coming out. The tentacles are creepy. The pinkish skin is irritating. Now, I know these guys are basically warped hobgoblins, but look at those eyes. They're so deep, sullen, just caverns in the skull that they just creep you out. Like, imagining that coming out of the darkness at you would probably terrify most PCs into just being like, oh my god, as this thing then ravages and beats you down. Because I think they actually are a good challenge rating, too, and very aggressive. So it'd be very cool for maybe a Dolgunt to rule over a goblin horde as their leader, since hobgoblins normally lead. I feel that even the other hobgoblins would be kind of just like, let him do what he wants. He's terrifying and just horrifying to look at. But beautiful and beautifully sculpt-wise done. Very nice miniature to add. So next up here, we have an awesome miniature that would also recommend why I was more open to try this style of doing my miniatures. When I originally got my brick, there sounded like something shaking inside, and it happened to be this big guy. As you can see there on his base, there's some green stuff around it. I'm trying to turn that into a leg, so it's obviously less noticeable anyway, but still, it unfortunately broke that, and one of the vines there on his leg, that's one of his anchor vines, got broken. So a shame that he came that way, but easily fixable, and then I'm going to make him look good again, and he'll be tabletop ready once again. To come along, rip up the skeletons and the corpses, raid the graveyards, and when your adventures come across them, try to turn them into the undead and add them to its horrifying, growing body of doom and death. I love the skeletons. Look at the nice skeletal detail going on there. Very nice. I love the little buds on top. Very awesome. And the nice tentacles. Honestly, when I get done green stuffing that little tentacle, like weirdly angled peg stand, it's going to look like a leg once again, or another vine coming down to stabilize it. So I'm not worried. But it is kind of a sadness. I give a little bit of a hit, a little bit of a ding to WizKids there. They got to start doing this better and making sure their minis go in safely before they wrap them up. Because this could have been avoided. They could have found this, took it out, and got another one, and they replace it exactly and not do this. But I'll leave it as it is. Like I said, I'm going to make it look cooler anyway with the leg coming down the middle anyway. So, but still, awesome. I'm glad I got the probably rare Corpse Flower. And let's see his information. It is number 30 of 44. Next up, I did unfortunately get my first duplicate from that box, which was another Kalishtar, which I'm not having a problem with getting another Kalishtar female. I could repaint her little pink flock into a yellow flock or some other very friendly, warm color or bright color to make her very pretty again. And maybe change even her dress color, something like that. Easy paint job correction to make it useful as another Kalishtar. But not too bad to get a dupe of. Not bad at all. And hitting our new interesting races thing, here is a shifter artificier, which to me kind of looks like a Harry Potter character, like with the wand there. Very unusual, but, you know, very interesting at the same time. I like the lab coat idea behind him with a nice hat match. I mean, you know, he could be in a nice Western-esque as well as old style campaign, you know, depending on your lore of it. And he's number 11 of 44. Really nice. I like his style. Simple paint job, but it looks good on him. Other than the wand, I like what I'm seeing here for a shifter. He's actually doing a very good job of hiding it, his animalistic nature. So, you know, he's very incognito. Very nice and very cool. Last up for this box, we had the Undying Soldier. Now, I already have the older version of the Undying Soldier. My apologies, I just bumped my camera again. But the Undying Soldier here, and look how nice it looks. It is very nice. I like the big shield on there. My Undying Soldier is a little smaller in body tone, which I'm not sure why they kept him so brawny, because they're supposed to be kind of shriveled corpses a little bit. Like, they're a little bit shriveled on the body bulk size, but it works. They did keep the shield nice and big, so it kind of blocks him, that nice tower-esque shield. And a nice good spear, got a little warm water treatment, made it nice and good again. But I like the Undying Soldiers. They're a nice set of interesting guards you could throw. If a town happens to have a very friendly necromancer, sort of an evil one, he could be building these for the Jarl or the King or whatever, so that they don't have to waste innocent guard lives. So really cool. And by the way, guys, I'd like to take a quick message. Let me put that back. A quick message. Please do check out our podcast for the Dice and Dummies, where I will be DMing Season 2. Well, my bro, Zach, if you want to get a hold of me at Twitter, at ProZach, is DMing our Season 1, which we finally got all of our episodes up. So if you were listening to Season 1, do finish that up so you know how it ends, and start listening to Episode 2. Eventually, at some point, we will start live streaming these, as well as putting some video on there so people can see the miniatures we're using that I'm showing off my videos here. Be really nice, especially with the boards and the stuff I'm building for the boards, you know, showing off all that kind of stuff. If you want to get a hold of me at Twitter, I am at 01Berserker. If you want to talk more about the podcast or just in general, I'm a lot quicker to answer Twitter than I am to answer YouTube, but I will make effort to try and answer your comments down below if you have any questions or if you just want to chat. Good with either. Also, do please like and subscribe down below. It helps keep the videos going. Helps me keep it rocking. Next up, we got another lovely large creature, the Ankeg. Now, as far as I know, I don't know of any older Ankeg models, except maybe one in the past. And it's so hard to find, and they're so rare to get your hands on. But look how nicely painted this is. Look at the lovely red with that yellow bordering on top of the very nice claws detail. And I love this ground effect going on in the base. Look at those little rockish, pebblish effect. That's what I wish WizKids would do more. It makes it look more interesting. It makes it scream as a mini to look at me. I'm interesting. And I have stuff going on. It's very cool. Very like wild-esque and Ankeg. And it helps show off how cool and powerful these bugs actually are. It gives them a little more life than the Monster Manual's kind of stiffish design and like pose they went with. So really cool. And he is number 31 out of 44. So a very nice addition to my giant beastly bugs and monsters set. And no surprises coming. Here comes another new creature, the Changeling, also a character race now in the game. I like this Cruella de Vil style with the two halves, or the two-face style with the long hair shifting slowly into a shorter hair design. It helps show off how these changelings would be very interesting for a character. It could make your group easily kind of sneak their way into a group of guards or past any guards, since he could just change his shape to be one. It's just impressive how simple he is in his build design, but it has a nice dynamic look to it. He looks like he's in the middle doing something too, but not moving. Like a lot of crazy pose. I like that. I love how WizKids pulled this off. Another great character or NPC or PC mini. Next up, we have the Shifter Rogue again. Now, it's weird. It's the same Shifter in every way. I've already checked it. They are literally the same pose, but this one has a knife. That's literally his only difference at all. And he is a different number, so 3. And kind of weird. I just wanted to bring him in just because, even though he's not a double, it feels like he's a more inspired double. Like, the other one was Wes. And we're going to do a quick little other dwarf artificier. Once I said, very nice dwarf. Same thing. I'll probably give his yellow there, or maybe a greening or a red to make him different. But very nice to get another dwarf, I guess. Another, cannon fodder dwarf for NPCing or lore-wise. We're down to our last box, and the large guy here is the living spell Cloud Kill with a nice yellowish translucent effect. And I've actually seen other people get theirs. Theirs aren't as clear as mine is, which makes them look kind of more ill. But I love the rock effect of this. I love the size of it. It takes up the base a lot more than the lightning spell in size, but it is very imposing and impressive. I like the sort of spikes of life, like it's growing spines. And we'll show its little back off here. It is 29 out of 44. Really nice. I like its design. It's very good. I gotta love it. It's a very nice living spell to throw at a group, since Cloud Kill can be very deadly. So really awesome and very dangerous, but also love the translucence. Love it. And with this group having a lot of interesting monsters, here is a mutated double goblin smash-up called a Dulgrim, which is, I think, meant to be basically an abbreviation for double goblin, as 2 goblins are basically mashed in together to give this thing 2 mouths and 2 sets of arms, and a bit bulkier body, because it is a true medium class. As you can see, he's got himself a nice little mace, sword, and a shield. I find it interesting his one hand is empty. I don't know if maybe there's another Dulgrim, because I think there was a Dulgrim that had a crossbow. Mine didn't, so I'm not sure if he ever held it. I don't see any marks showing his hand ever held a crossbow. It's literally just a closed fist. But in the book, it shows him holding a crossbow, so maybe there is another Dulgrim out there in the set that does. He is number 13 out of 44, so I haven't got all of them, so he could be possible that there's a 2 variant style Dulgrim similar to Shifter where one's just got a crossbow and the next one doesn't. So really awesome. And like I said, very nice to get these cool mutant monsters. They make a nice flavor to the possibilities of your group's encounters. Next up here we have the Dusk Hag. Now, I didn't know the Dusk Hag was even part of this until I started reading Eberron. I read a little bit in Eberron looking at new monsters. I saw she was in there. I didn't know she was part of the set because she's pretty cool looking. She could easily stand in for a Night Hag, so she is multi-useful already. But I think the Dusk Hag just has more of that creepy-ish look because she's not as ugly in the face. She's just got that more red and demonic look to her. So really cool. I like her design too. I like that little, almost like she's whispering or blowing through her claws. That's kind of cool. And just the one little foot poking out right there. Really nice. She is number 20 out of 44. Very nice and very creepy. And my base is actually making her look creepier, which is awesome. Love the, I love her posture and her style. I love her style. For a hag, she's got a good style going for her. Very nice. And without further ado, the last and possibly one of the best of the mediums, Belashira, the Mistress of the Eye. Or I think she is Queen of the Eyes. Now, I don't know if she's the Queen of Beholders, but, she can basically see you wherever she wants. And her people who serve under her can also gain her ability to grow mystical eyes, like in her hand there. And she can send them to watch around, where they basically can just look around and she's going to know you're coming. I think getting a surprise attack on her is basically nigh impossible. So, that's a cool thing to throw at your group if you want to make their lives have a hard fight and to teach that rogue a lesson who likes to think, I'll just get sneak attack while everyone's fighting. Nope, she saw you coming. She also has eye rays and stuff, just like a beholder would have. And I can't remember if in the book she's like the queen to beholders, like they worship her as a goddess or like an amazing figure. But I see no reason why maybe she wouldn't have a couple beholders working under her as like, a way of like repayment, or maybe they just admire her and her amazing skill. Look at her detail. It's so interesting. The creepiest greenish eyes, like look there of her face, the nice, lovely red dress, her blonde hair, that's, and her interesting halo of eyeballs. Like, that's literally, it's not like that just because they can have it connected. She actually has, like, a halo of eyeballs in the book, too. Like, it's just sort of weird, but also very interesting. I love the flavor of this mini. It's probably very rare, and I'm glad I pulled her out as the last thing. It made a nice cherry on the cake, so to speak, of this lovely brick. This brick was definitely great. I got some good stuff. Some things I didn't get, like the Clawfoot Raptor. Sad I didn't get it, or the Lord of Blades would have been nice. And then the Corpse Collector. Those are the ones I really also want to get as well. But I'm definitely glad with this. I'll just have to buy a couple more bricks in the future, or boxes in the future. I do have my next video for the Dark Order from Ascent to Avernus Dark Order set. They will be my next video. So stay tuned for that. And like I said, guys, check out our podcast for the Dice and Dummies. You can find us on Pinecast, Stitcher, all the stuff you can find podcast. We're there. Check us out. Please do subscribe and leave a comment or a review. We always love hearing back from the fans in general. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for today. Stay safe, please. Don't get hurt over the coronavirus. Try to stay safe, and bye-bye.